I'm Vanessa, 56, lying in a freezing Charlotte emergency room, phone in hand as I listen to my son pop champagne at a steakhouse. Tonight is his $18 million buyout, and I'm suffocating from a massive heart attack, chest crushed, monitor screaming. Spencer, I need $4,000 for emergency surgery. I gasp, my voice terrified. Get a payday loan. Mom. He sighs into the receiver. Don't ruin my night. The line went dead. I lowered the phone and looked at the foot of my hospital bed. Marcus, my husband of 30 years, stood there with his arms crossed over his pristine golf shirt. He did not ask about my pain. He did not reach for my hand. He just scoffed, shaking his head. You really are selfish, ruining the boy's night, Marcus muttered. Then he turned his back and walked out the double doors. 30 years of cooking, cleaning, and suffocating under their debts. And they left me to die in a sterile room. But their cruelty was about to become their total financial ruin. 10 minutes later, the doors crashed open again. Natalie rushed in. My 26-year-old daughter, still wearing her faded, coffee-stained nursing scrubs. She took one look at the monitor, one look at the empty chairs beside me, and turned right back around. No tears, no questions. An hour later, she walked back in and handed the billing nurse a thick envelope of cash. $4,200. She had just driven to a 24-hour predatory lot, sold her only car, and signed a payday loan at 22% interest, just to keep my heart beating. I swallowed the lump in my throat and stared at her exhausted face, a vow locked into place right there on that scratchy hospital mattress. I was going to pay this girl back 1,000 times over, and the two men who walked out on me. They were about to pay for it with everything they owned. The broken springs of Natalie's pull-out couch dug into my healing ribs. Through the thin apartment blinds, the yellow streetlights illuminated the freezing rain. It was 5 a.m. The front deadbolt clicked shut. My daughter was walking 3 blocks in the downpour to catch a city bus for a grueling 12-hour nursing shift. She had to wait in the cold because her only car belonged to a predatory lender now. I stared at the water stains on the ceiling and finally saw the absolute truth about my 30-year marriage. When you live in a house where relentless emotional abuse is constantly disguised as financial discipline, you lose your grip on your own worth. Marcus never raised a hand to me. He just slowly, methodically convinced me that his strict control over my life was the only thing protecting our family from ruin. For 12 straight years, I woke up at 4 a.m. to bake and sell artisan bread. Every single penny went toward paying the suffocating property taxes on 60 acres of inherited land on the outskirts of Charlotte. Marcus despised
I muted
that
this whole
property.
time. Shit.
He mocked my
I was
exhausting
saying,
labor
anyways,
every
I wanted to play
single
Kali
day,
again, but this guy looks like he's
calling
definitely a
my
Kali because he
inheritance
sort
a
of Mordecai as a
worthless dirt
caretaker.
trap. Then
And he
he
has,
would grab
like, yeah,
his
he's
pristine
fucking
golf clubs
dude.
and leave for the country club while I stood in the kitchen covered
Had
in
such a good
flour
software.
and sweat.
This guy's
A
holding
sharp
Jax's.
knock broke the morning
Oh no,
silence.
that's this guy.
I shuffled to the door,
Wait, that's this guy.
clutching my
I think he's
thick
also a
robe
Kali.
tightly over my surgical scars.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Arthur stood in the narrow hallway.
Then what
He
am
was
I
our
playing?
65-year-old family lawyer.
Play some Yi
But more than that,
with drone uplink
he was
though?
the only professional who ever treated me with genuine respect.
Um,
Arthur knew exactly how Marcus operated and despised him for it. Today, Arthur kept his wet trench coat on and
everyone's a
bypassed
Kali. I
every
only
single
got to play
polite
one game of a
greeting.
Kali. Like,
He marched straight to Natalie's
you know what it
tiny
was,
kitchen
guys? It
table
was a
and
true
dropped a
game
heavy
of
leather
Medallion
folder right
Reroll.
in the center. He
Oh, it
looked me
actually
dead in
was.
the eye. The Charlotte Zoning Board had
Actually,
just
I don't even
finalized
have to
a
like
massive
call him.
city expansion. That
And now
useless
what?
dirt Marcus spent 12 years
How am I playing
humiliating
Jinx
me
Reroll
over
when there's
was
fucking
now sitting
2 other
squarely in the
Kali
center
players?
of a new corporate tech
Or at
hub.
least one.
Arthur
Like,
slid
just
a
Jinx
single
alone isn't
thick
gonna
sheet
do
of
shit, I
paper
feel.
across the table. My eyes traced the
Would
bold
have been
black
no,
ink
someone
at the
else is
bottom of the
playing it.
page.
I don't like
The
contesting.
commercial buyout offer was
We'll see.
finalized. $22
We'll see.
million. in pure
I might just go up
liquid
and play
cash.
Yi or like go up and play
Public
something.
property registries update at lightning speed when commercial real estate hits the 8-figure mark. It only took 48 hours for the scent of $22 million to waft across Charlotte. The vultures caught it immediately. Natalie was
Look at this
working a
guy.
double shift at the clinic.
Is he
I was
playing
sitting
Jinx
at
or
her
Kali? I
tiny,
can't even
wobbly
tell.
kitchen table, nursing a cup of chamomile tea, when a heavy fist pounded on the front door. The doorknob twisted hard. Before I could even stand up, the door shoved violently inward. Marcus had kept a copy of
Do
the
it Kali
emergency
and I'll
spare
still won't
key.
play it though.
He marched into the cramped living room, tracking wet leaves onto my daughter's cheap rug. Spencer followed right on
guy's
his
too
heels.
duped.
My son's designer silk tie hung loose around his collar, and a frantic, greasy layer of sweat coated his forehead.
Yeah, a
You
Kali.
hid this from us, Spencer
2 Kali
barked,
forces.
his voice echoing off the thin apartment walls.
Oh wait, where's the other
He
guy?
jabbed a finger in my direction.
He's not a Kali anymore.
You
He's
sat
playing
on
Anima
$22
now.
million,
I guess he's not a
and
Kali.
you
So
didn't
it's
even
just
pick
one a
up the
Kali,
phone
but he
to
has
call
2
your own
dupes.
son. Marcus paced the short length of the room. He dragged his hand over Natalie's thrift store bookshelf. His face twisted in absolute disgust at our living conditions. Hand over the deed. Vanessa, we need to manage this properly. I have to take control of the new accounts immediately before you squander the entire family estate. She's probably trying to funnel a cut to her useless daughter. Spencer
12-3,
sneered.
but my items are a
He
little
leaned over the
sussy.
kitchen table, planting his hands
现在
flat
就
on the
我没怎
wood.
么看，其实。
You're trying to spoil
True
Natalie
Adam
and leave me out
plans?
in the
Wait,
cold
this
just
is
to punish
interesting
me
now.
for the other night. It's pathetic. Mom,
Snackbar is trying to add
I
because he's
looked
still
up at my
holding these and
son's flushed,
so
angry face. I looked over at my husband's demanding, entitled glare. The surgical incision under my shirt still burned with every single breath I took.
sussy
Neither
sus.
of them glanced at my chest.
Like,
Neither
what
of
the
them
hell?
asked if my heart was actually healing. They stared at a woman who nearly died in an emergency room 3 days ago. And all they saw was a giant, walking
Yeah,
bank
Power is
account.
lit.
I took a slow sip of my tea. The porcelain cup stayed perfectly steady in my grip.
No,
Not
no,
a single
no,
rattle
no.
against the saucer.
I mean, I could just play Yi.
The burning anger inside me simply
play some Yi.
evaporated, leaving behind something
Nova
cold
Kindred.
and sharp. The 2 men
Probably
standing
Yi.
in my daughter's home were absolute strangers.
Because the other one needs
I
Nova
set the
M.
cup down on the table.
Let's see.
Arthur's law office, I said.
So the thing is just
keeping my
Akali is
tone
just cooler
perfectly
than
flat.
Jinx.
Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Bring your lawyers. We will settle the family estate once and for all. Arthur's downtown law office smelled like lemon polish and expensive leather.
She was
The
so cool
mahogany
last game.
table in the conference room
She was
stretched out
giga
like a
cool.
slick, polished battlefield.
Thing is,
Marcus
though, if
and
there's 2
Spencer
players
walked
playing
through the double glass
Akali,
doors exactly 10 minutes late.
it'll be easy when I hit my
Classic
Jinx.
intimidation tactic. They brought a bulldog of a corporate lawyer
I'm
with
level
them,
31
a
in
younger
Power
man
now.
in a sharp pinstriped suit carrying a thick, hard-shell briefcase. The lawyer bypassed all
ice
polite
cream.
introductions. He unclasped his briefcase, pulled out a thick stack of legal filings, and slapped the
I'm also
document
2
onto
off
the
this.
wood.
So low
He leaned over
key.
the table, planting his knuckles on the surface to loom over me. We secured an emergency injunction,
Like low
the
key.
lawyer stated, his voice booming
go
in the
up.
quiet room. A 48-hour temporary freeze on your escrow account. My clients are filing for equitable
for the rod?
distribution based on marital fraud. We are formally demanding 80% of the $22 million buyout. Spencer dropped into a high-backed executive chair and crossed
Okay.
his legs. A smug, deeply satisfied smirk stretched across his face. He smoothed his expensive silk tie. You really thought you could just lock me out? Mom,
Where are my
now my team
items?
is going to bury you in litigation for the next 10 years. You will die completely penniless. Marcus stood directly behind him, placing a heavy hand on Spencer's shoulder like a proud patriarch. He pointed a rigid finger at me, shaking his head with a mask of fake,
Are you fucking kidding me?
righteous disappointment.
Okay.
You forgot your vows.
Did you guys see that?
Vanessa,
Did you guys see that?
you forgot your duty to this family. We built this estate together.
Did you guys see that
And
or
you
what?
have absolutely no right to steal our wealth just
I
to
just
spoil
reverted
your
rod into chain into
ungrateful
rod. No, chain
They
into a
waited
rod.
for me
No,
to break.
rod into a chain
They
into
expected the
a
old,
rod into a chain.
fragile Vanessa to panic,
I fucking
burst
can't. I didn't
into
get any
tears,
sword or bows.
to beg for a compromise before
I
they
might go in
ruined me.
KMS.
The room went dead silent. The heavy ticking of the grandfather clock
Like,
in the corner
nani the
echoed off the
fuck?
glass walls. I looked at Marcus's pointing finger. I looked at Spencer's
And I
smug
still don't
grin.
have enough money.
Then I turned my head and met Arthur's eyes. Arthur sat perfectly still, his hands folded neatly over his legal pad. He gave me a single, slow nod.
I should have taken Epoch if
The
I'm
trap
playing
was
for Yi,
perfectly
but
set.
like, wow, more
Spencer
chains.
leaned back in his high-backed executive
This
chair,
game really likes me.
waiting for my collapse. Marcus crossed
Do
his
I,
arms,
do I just go up or do I just
expecting me to
play?
beg for a fraction
Yi.
of my own money. They wanted tears. They wanted panic.
Low key,
I kept my eyes completely
I don't
off my
care.
husband and my son.
I don't fucking care.
I looked directly at their expensive
Take the bitches.
bulldog in the pinstriped suit. My hand slipped into my leather purse. I pulled out a single, yellowed piece of paper and slid it across the long mahogany
I got
table.
another. No, this
The
actually,
document
this is
stuck right
actually
in
cool.
front of the lawyer's
I fucking got
folded hands.
another chain and then I
6 years
reforged it
ago,
and became
the
another
property
rod.
taxes
Like,
on that
where
dirt
is my
plot
bow
were
and
drowning
swords?
our
Like, I
bank
actually
accounts.
cannot.
Marcus and Spencer panicked. They dragged me to a cheap notary on the edge of town. They forced me to sign a North
And I didn't even get to
Carolina
put the
free
crown
trader
guard on
agreement.
in time.
They wanted to protect their pristine credit scores from my financial failures. The language on that page was ironclad. It explicitly waived any
Actually, I shouldn't
and
have made that.
all
Maybe
of
I can just,
Marcus's
because I get
current
another
and future
reforger
rights
later,
to the
right?
property,
Or is it one at the
regardless
stage?
of its future valuation. They built a massive legal fortress to keep my debts out. They never realized they were locking themselves
I'm so
completely
angry.
out of a $22 million gold mine.
I think it's glitched.
The
It's
corporate
literally
lawyer
one
picked
chain,
up the
rod and
paper.
chains and rod and chains.
His eyes scanned the first paragraph. A thick blue vein pulsed at his temple.
I just want to get at
He
one,
flipped to the second page.
one Akali too.
His
Just to
gaze
fuck with
locked
him.
onto the raised red seal of the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Right next to that bright red stamp sat Marcus's own notarized signature. The color drained entirely from the lawyer's face, leaving his skin a sickly, pale gray. He dropped the paper onto the polished wood like it was covered in
The
poison.
guy's been jinxes.
He reached for his
Wait, he's not
hard-shelled
playing
briefcase
Akali.
and
He's playing
snapped the golden
Diana.
latches shut.
Bruh.
The sharp clicks echoed
Okay,
in
that's
the
fine,
dead,
whatever.
silent room. He shoved his chair back and stood up,
Where's the other guy?
adjusting his pinstripe
I guess he bitched
jacket.
it. He saw me.
He refused to look at Spencer.
Wait, where's
He
the...
muttered that he would not touch a legally suicidal case.
This guy?
And walked
Okay, he's
straight
playing...
out the
He's probably playing
double-glass
Nova
doors.
Kindred.
He left
He's
his
level
arrogant
7. Okay,
clients
so
sitting
I
in
just,
the
like, griefed
absolute
myself for
ruins
funds.
of their own trap. Spencer stared
Because I
at
could
the
have just
empty doorway.
gunbladed.
His smug, satisfied grin melted into pure,
Okay, now I'm playing Jinx.
unadulterated terror. The sweat on his forehead thickened, dripping down the side of his pale face.
One bow here.
He slammed his hands flat onto the
Oh
table,
my
his
god.
designer silk
Oh
tie
my
swinging
god.
wildly. His breathing grew shallow and frantic. He started stammering, his voice cracking down the middle. He confessed his entire
Like, oh my
scheme
god.
right there in the boardroom. He had secretly leveraged his entire personal stock portfolio on margin to buy a
I would have
senior
had perfect
partnership
Akali
with his
items.
tech firm.
I just cannot get a ball.
He banked everything on bullying a sick woman out of her $22 million to cover his massive new debts. He needed my money to survive his own toxic greed.
One ball. No
Without
ball.
my payout,
I need a lot of bows,
the bank
actually.
would seize his accounts by Friday morning. He was staring down the barrel of total, irreversible bankruptcy. Marcus leaped out of his chair.
Gonna be Last
His
Whisper
chest
and then like
heaved
another
with
sword
every
item
panicked
probably.
breath. The authoritative patriarch act vanished
Costa,
in an
thank you so much
instant,
for the prime.
replaced by a desperate,
No bow is fucking
pathetic old
shit
man.
here, and everyone's level 7.
He lunged across the mahogany wood, reaching frantically for my hand. His trembling fingers grazed my knuckles. I pulled my arm back sharply, letting his greedy grip hit the empty table. He begged me to think about our 30 years together. He pleaded with me to save our family. I pushed my chair back and stood up. My ribs ached, sending a sharp, agonizing reminder of the emergency room bed they left
He's
me
5
to die
animal.
in.
They don't know I had it too.
I slowly buttoned my winter coat, pulling the thick fabric securely
They don't
over
know that
my
I
human
had it and
heart.
I went 5th.
I looked down at the two terrified men.
Yeah, he's just cooler, man.
You divorced this family in the hospital. I said, my voice
Oh
echoing
my god,
off the
some
glass wall.
Morganas.
I am just filing
Where are
the
my
paperwork.
units? Where's this guy?
The wire transfer hit Arthur's escrow account exactly 72 hours later. $22 million. I stared at the bank receipt resting on his mahogany desk. The
He
printed
said
numbers
not even
looked
good.
heavy,
I'm pretty sure it's
real,
good.
and completely undeniable.
Yeah, he is. He is a
Arthur
con?
silently slid the irrevocable trust paperwork across the leather mat. I gripped the heavy brass pen and signed my name right on the dotted line, legally transferring every single
I don't
penny of
want
that
those.
fortune into Natalie's name. The very first thing I did with the bridge loan was march into that predatory lender's office. I dropped a cashier's check onto his cluttered desk, burning
did
that
he play, though?
22% interest contract
Maybe his
straight
board
to
is just
ash.
weak.
Then, I went to a dealership.
I really need some
I bought a
balls.
brand new, charcoal gray sedan with a spotless safety record. That evening, I left the shiny keys resting on Natalie's cramped kitchen counter on top of a small yellow
Where did
sticky
that come
note.
from?
Across town, the dominoes fell fast and hard.
Wait, where did
Spencer's
that come
tech
from?
firm caught wind of his recklessly over-leveraged margin account. They fired him by Friday afternoon. The bank swooped in 48 hours later, seizing his sleek luxury car, his downtown condo, and his bloated investment portfolio. He was left with total financial ruin.
Oh my god,
Marcus
can I get
tried
one
to call
more?
me a dozen times.
Okay, one more
leaving
fucking rod, I
frantic
swear to god.
voicemails begging for second chances. I hit block and tossed the phone onto the couch. He was officially locked out of his country club lifestyle. He had to pack his pristine golf shirts into black plastic garbage bags and rent a
Here?
cheap, cramped room
No
on the
good.
industrial outskirts of the city. 2 months
No
later,
good.
the freezing Charlotte rain was just a distant
Yes.
memory.
Hit this jinx thing
I
maybe?
sat on the wide, wraparound porch of our
One more
beautiful
bowl?
new house,
Oh my god.
cradling a mug of warm coffee.
My bad. I guess,
The
my
golden
bad.
Sunday morning sun
what the
spilled
fuck?
across the smooth wooden floorboards. Natalie sat in the rocking chair next to me, her feet tucked safely
Also I didn't
under a
move tank
thick
items
quilt.
over, I'm trolling.
She was finally off those grueling double hospital shifts. We just sat there together, listening to the birds singing in the giant oak trees. No screaming, no suffocating debts, no toxic men demanding our blood. I took a deep, steadying breath, pulling the crisp morning air into my healing chest. For the first time in 30 years, we were completely free. The dust settled over Charlotte, revealing the absolute truth of who my toxic family really was. Justice in the real world isn't a dramatic movie scene. It's highly bureaucratic, found in signed contracts and court orders. Within 3 weeks, Spencer's arrogant kingdom collapsed, fired and
I can't
blacklisted
believe we got
across
all
the
these
tech
rods
sector
and
for
keys.
unauthorized leverage.
And all I wanted
He
in
was
life,
forced into federal
all
bankruptcy,
I wanted in life
stripped of his luxury condo and sports car, and left
was
working
just,
a graveyard
what
shift
the
to survive
fuck is going on
crushing
here?
debt.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
I see.
Marcus faced his
All I
own
wanted in
ruin.
life was,
Thanks to the very North Carolina Free Trader Agreement he had forced me to sign years ago, he received absolutely
Some bows.
0% of our $22 million land buyout in the divorce.
we need, how are we gonna get
Stripped of his
anti-heal?
wealth.
He's
He was
level
relegated
9,
to a
wait.
tiny room above a noisy
How's it-
laundromat. His social execution was equally precise.
Wait, who's the
Once our
fight?
lawyer casually revealed to our church community
I'm
how
confused.
Marcus had abandoned me during a massive
there were
heart
two
attack to
5
go
animal
drink
guys?
champagne. He was instantly exiled. The reputation he spent 30 years building on lies burned to ash by a single truth. 6 months later, a bright Carolina spring bloomed, and so did my new life. While repotting hydrangeas on the porch of my new
Velvet.
estate, my phone buzzed. It was Marcus, leaving a pathetic, sobbing
Oh, I
voicemail
just realized
begging
that's
for
the Briar one.
$10,000, followed shortly by an email from Spencer trying to guilt-trip me into giving him his rightful share of the estate. Years ago, this would have sent me into a spiral of anxiety and guilt. Instead, I simply deleted the messages, blocked their numbers permanently, and went right back to my gardening. The silence they left behind was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. The trust fund gave my daughter Natalie and me an impenetrable fortress. Natalie quit her grueling double hospital shifts,
Honestly,
paid
these are
for
more
her
like a
advanced
Kali
nursing
items.
degree in cash, and finally had time to breathe. We started a new tradition
Thanks for
of
following
hosting
live.
weekly Sunday dinners
Go,
filled with
Jinx!
joy,
No! What the
roasted garlic,
fuck?
and artisan bread,
Oh, good.
but only for our
So
chosen
how,
family.
what are we gonna do
Our
with these
loyal
two, like,
lawyer, Arthur,
5
and the
animal
kind
people?
ER nurse who held Natalie's hand during our darkest days are permanent fixtures at our table, surrounded by genuine laughter and unconditional respect. No one asks for a
$7?
dime. They love us for exactly who we are. Surviving
Low-key, I need
emotional
the
abuse
$7
gives you
right
terrifying
now.
clarity.
Still no,
Narcissistic
bro.
people
Oh
view
my
you
god.
as a mere appliance. You exist strictly to serve them, fund their lifestyle,
Still
and
no,
protect
bro.
their fragile egos. The moment you break down and require care, like needing emergency heart surgery, they throw you in the
The
garbage.
Blitzcrank as
But
well?
the second that broken appliance magically turns into a $22 million gold mine, they will weaponize the word family as a heavy
Wait, like,
chain
what?
to drag
Do we
you
even,
right
like, try to
back
lose
into the
anymore?
dark.
What
You
even
must
is
break
going
that
on?
chain. If you are exhausted from giving your soul to people who leave you with nothing, burn these 3 rules into your mind. First,
What is going on?
loyalty is proven in the emergency room, not the steakhouse. Stop giving your best to people who wouldn't offer you a glass of water if you were on fire. Second, paper remembers what toxic people conveniently forget.
I mean, it's fine if we
Their own
lose.
greed will eventually become the iron lock on their prison cell as they dig their own graves.
Do I even roll?
Third, walking away is never quitting. It is taking your soul back. Blood does not make you family.
Maybe it was, and just go
and
straight
you are
off, yeah.
completely allowed to walk
like,
away
don't
from
even
people
care
who
about
hurt
the-
you. Because
Okay, it
trust
actually
is
was.
earned,
Like, why am I even,
not
like,
owed.
on prismatic ticker here?
I am Vanessa.
I'm trolling.
After 30 years of believing I was a worthless
I mean,
burden,
now...
I am now the wealthy, untouchable matriarch of a family
I'm
built
not rolling,
on
honestly.
absolute
Prismatic
truth
ticker,
and
we'll go for
unshakable
3
love.
stars something.
And I am finally free. Have you ever had to legally or emotionally cut off a toxic family member to save your own life? Drop your story in the comments below, and let's remind each other that we are never alone.